Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to another Barcast Daily. Today we have a special guest, I suppose, on the channel. Coming back, I guess, is ZLO. Not to introduce him as a co-caster, sorry. But we're going to be featuring a game with ZLO versus Andy on Heartbreak Hill. So hope you all enjoy me bringing some different maps to kind of the replay scene, so to speak, or the caster scene. And if you like that, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be producing a lot of more build order videos coming up in the next couple weeks. So we're going to be doing ones for like a 1v1C map, Paradise Lost. Should be doing one for this map here. And I had a few more in mind. Want to be playing on some different 1v1 maps. And for those of you who enjoy team games and Navy 8s, I'm going to be producing some build order videos for all the respective roles on some of the different maps. So we'll do a deep dive and analysis. I'll get into the lab for you guys and we can check out how some of these higher level players actually like to play the game in open, and it's a good way to learn, I suppose. So that being said, thank you all for liking, subscribing, leaving me comments. Really appreciate the feedback and hope to continue to improve. So that being said, we've got a map on Heartbreak Hill. You know, these players have got their opening build orders coming down. Looks like we've got a bot lab for both players. And I'll just talk about this map for a second. It's a big map. There's a lot of mass. There's a lot of mexes. And there's a really interesting difference between bots and vehicles, I suppose. So, like, vehicles being able to traverse across these hills, but not some of these sheer cliffs, what have you. Like, they can move up this one here, but what's another one they can't move up? Like this one here, they couldn't move up. So pretty cool to see that split. And of course, just a big map, lots of mexes. So should see a pretty good macro game for these two players. And that being said, take a look at some of these initial build orders here. Looks like Andy went for a grunt first and then is going into a construction vehicle, whereas Low just got his first construction vehicle, or excuse me, construction bot coming off the line, going to be capping these two back mexes and then moving to this plateau. So really already just trying to get out onto the map as fast as he can, just continuing to add on with some wind turbines here. As we can see, the average wind speed is kind of not really cooperating, dropping down below 10 as you're getting close to the territory to make the solar collectors, right? So it can definitely slow down your build order if you're not. Interesting enough, we see the first construction bot placing the radar up here on the high ground. That's interesting to note, I suppose. Really, you can see Andy's emphasizing this radar production against such a high-level aggressive player, none other than ZLO himself. So sure, his reputation precedes, and the man can do anything. He can macro, he can micro, he can all in. He can do the hour-long crazy macro games on settings, so man's got it all. We see a little bit of a run by here. One grunt sneaking through. I don't think he's going to get too much damage. He's pinched between a couple grunts. Slow got this around and takes the initial grunt down, so nice little catch there. Good attempt at a run by so early in the game. Can really throw an opponent off guard. And we see both players have kind of finished spending their initial starting mass. So they should see a commander walk here coming pretty soon. We're looking at ZLO's first-person view. This is a really interesting skewed position. I'm not sure if this is just a game engine kind of freaking out or what. We can take a look at Andy. Take a look at this player view, just kind of hovering over the base, trying to get these expansions done safely. He's got playing really greedy. We have 5 construction vehicles out. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 expanding construction bots. Is this one going to come back and assist the factory? Looks like it, so I mean, he's capping 3 mexes at the same time right now, so really emphasizing that economy. Interesting enough, so both players very even on metal. We see ZLO's got a lot more army units out here on the map. 4 construction vehicles, and I'm sure that's going to be changing here for Andy as he might end up stopping production on these construction bots. No, it has 1 construction bot, 2 grunts on repeat coming out of the factory. Looks like Zoe's going to get a little bit of a run by here. Andy was cheeky enough to try and use his solar collector to block the pathing on that so his units could catch up. Didn't quite catch that for you guys, but you see on the top side of the map, this commander is going to shoo away these grunts for a minute here. And yeah, so we got a successful run by here coming back into the main base. This grunt's already picked off 2 mexes here. Is he going to get a third one? This is so frustrating to deal with. No, the third mech stays alive here. He's going to come back to get it. Is this construction bot going to go down? No, so takes it down just in time. And he keeps his construction bot alive. Take a look at this map. Meanwhile, ZLO is moving into the middle here. He's going to be capping this mech, adding on a radar, and trying to secure this middle ground plateau. We've got a little bit of a run by, moving to the bottom side of the map. So a lot of grunts here is going to take out at least a radar and a radar and a mech here. Not sure if he's going to be able to get this construction bot. Andy kind of scrambling to get some units in position here, and another LLT up to kind of defend this little run by location here. So really good job controlling, pulling back this construction bot, excuse me. And I'm going to take a sip of coffee while we observe this little grunt fight going on. So we see Andy's moved on to this high ground, really atypical. Seen him do this a lot. We've got a forward radar, an LLT blocking it, and then another LLT going up to protect these two fresh mexes. Meanwhile, in the center of the map, we have a little bit of a grunt battle going on. Some posturing between both players. Andy giving chase, just trying to shoo ZLO away. Like to see him kind of push him back up onto this this little choke point here. That you can get a nice arc around that. Makes it really difficult for your opponent to kind of move through that if you can control that position. So although they might have the middle of the board to launch attacks from anywhere, they still have to move through these choke points to kind of get onto your side of the map. So not the end of the world if your opponent ends up securing that. And we see this naked expansion by ZLO. I mean, he throws up the radar and is just capping these mexes. So finally, we can see two LLTs at the end of this build chain. We have these top right-hand corner mexes being taken. So really cool to see this naked expanding and then finally moving into LLTs after the fact. So really trying to force your opponent to play aggressive. If they don't harass, if they don't get run bys, you're going to be really far ahead. So you can see both players kind of posturing here. Take a look at these main bases and player reviews for a minute. So you see a couple of run by attempts here from ZLO. Is this grunt going to get through? I think so. And he should get a couple of mexes for his trouble. So you can see Andy's already got a decent amount of power. He's got a lot of grunts on the bottom side of the board. His commander's controlling the top. I bet you we'll see a factory added up there shortly. And looks like ZLO's getting ready for a push here. We'll take a look at his player reviews. He's got a lot of his forces here on the bottom side, which is, allowing him to expand to these top right and bottom right-hand corners efficiently. Another player really wants to engage. And he's smartly backing off. Doesn't want to be kited by these grunts. It's really how you lose games. And another run-by attempt. So these single units just finding damage somehow. I bet you we can see this construction vehicle goes down if these two grunts can't get into position. Some shots already going off. Andy moving up to the top of this board, but I don't think ZLO's going to give him the chance here. He takes out the construction bot, so I mean that is just worth its weight in gold. We see a hidden grunt here up on this high ground. And already a couple of these mexes in the center being taken by our blue player here. Some radars going up in the center, just more radar coverage, giving ZLO complete vision of this map here. So really strong play from both players. I want to give the advantage to ZLO. I like how he's secured both the top and bottom right. We see Andy's kind of neglected that. Just has his central base here. Hasn't capped these three mexes either. And yeah, it should be down on mass. Yeah, so that ZLO is up by about 1.4k mass as the game stands right now. See a lot of LLTs going up in the center here. Pretty cool to see LLTs on the north side of the main central plateau, and we see grunts on the south side. So one's protected by static defense, one's protected by units, and yeah, this posturing is just really letting ZLO get away with this naked expanding all over the map. So this is a great play. Finally, we see some movement on this grunt. He's coming in to find some damage. I don't think this LLT is going to give him the time of day though. So that grunt finally gets cleaned up, and the game seems to be stabilizing. We see Andy's adding along his vehicle plane here in the center. He's trying to produce some extra build power. And we'll see some pounders and medium tanks coming out of that shortly. So it's an interesting arc. This is we've devolved back into colonial style, colonial style engagements here. See a couple extra build power here going towards the center, adding on more of like a middle radar, so just trying to get some vision onto this middle plateau for our red player. Continuing to add on wind turbines with 2 construction bots, and aircraft plants. So interesting enough, I'm wondering, we're kind of stalling on mass a little bit. I'm wondering if Andy's going to be turning off some of these build orders here. See our red player trying to sneak by with some grunts. ZLO isn't going to kind of let him slip by here. Moving into position, we can thank these great radar coverage. Actually, he didn't quite have that under radar, but nonetheless, is trying to sneak through with these units. So I mean, we see like just staying on top of this. The game slowed down, so you can poke through with these one grunt. You're not really donating a lot of mass. You can take out a radar, so the grunt's already paid for itself. See another little run by attempt getting dealt with here on the bottom side of the map, and ZLO's already T2. Fiends coming across the map. So his commander, did we salvage? Yeah, we salvaged our initial bot factory, and we have some T2 units already out onto the battlefield here. 10 minutes into the game. We see a couple run-by attempts here, some incisors trying to get past these LLTs, no such luck. See a couple pounders here controlling this high ground here. Andy's trying to send out some incisors for some harassment here, and this one grunt's going to sneak through. Oh my goodness. Already has 3 kills on him, and he's not done, so he's going to get another mech, another construction bot with this grunt. And we see a lot of fiends pooling up here in the center of the board. This game is going to explode quickly here. See a couple of medium tanks along the top side. Should be getting some harassment done here, but I mean the real story is like, when does our blue player choose to attack with these fiends? They're grouping up the middle. Looks like he's moving his grunts to the center, perhaps just to kind of group up all his forces for a main push here. So, and unfortunate enough, our red player is moving all of his units to the south. I think he's seeing this movement on his on one of these radar positions. Yeah, so scrambling to get some units in position here, but here we go. These fiends are moving forward. Oh my goodness, how much damage are these going to get done? I don't really see a response to this. I mean, this is so many fiends. There's a good dozen fiends here just running directly towards the main base. We see some bombers have made their way out onto the map. Andy's scrambling to get some shurikens out, but I'm sure not. I'm still not sure how to say that. And yeah, these fiends are moving forward, so these are very strong against Tech 1 units here. We see 4 moving down the hill on this right side of the main base, getting kind of cleaned up a little bit. See more fiends moving towards this factory, and yeah, this main base is just going to get completely wiped out by these fiends here, just rolling over the main base of our red player here. That was some incredible damage. Just completely annihilating the entire main base. Are you kidding me? We see Andy has got his second factory up here on the high ground. This bomber doing what it can against these grunts, but I mean, there's still more fiends just kind of pouring onto the battlefield here. You can see our blue player can just send these at any point in the map now. Still a lot to be run over. Fiends to the top side, grunts to the bottom. This bomber doing what it can to find damage. It looks like in the meantime, Andy was able to clean out this top right side of the map, but has some units left over, kind of in the wrong position. So just more run-bys. Fiends and grunts sneaking through in the top side, sneaking through on the bottom. I mean, one exploiter can take on a fiend, I'm sure. Not the strongest units HP-wise, but they're fast-moving and do a lot of damage. So especially in this like early Tech 1 stage, really. I mean, 12 minutes into the game. I'd still consider that a Tech 1 stage in most 1v1 games. And here we go. We see some fiends and grunts moving towards the second main of Andy. Got a couple fiends running into some pounders here. Those are going to be dealt with. And an LLT wall is going to catch this run-by attempt from our red players. So there's a lot of LLTs defending this little run-by. And for those of you who don't know, that's like the only way vehicles can get into the main base over here on the right side of the map is through this choke point here. So you can throw up a lot of static defense there. And already have a Grave Robber soaking up all this mass here for our blue player, so not even giving Andy a chance to kind of pick that up for himself. And it's just reduced to this small little quadrant on the map here. I mean, he's not going to go down without a fight. Come kill my commander, he's saying. Give me the honor of defeat, right? Have some anti-air. We see him gone up from our blue player. He's got his commander hidden in the water, a long-range anti-air turret here in the center, and can only lose the game and only really lose the game by a commander snipe. So he just kind of has to kind of play this one out. Grouping up more fiends. We see he's not really diving on this main. I mean, he knows he doesn't have to attack. All he has to do is just let the game run for a few more minutes. He's got 1,300 mass in the bank and is going to be making let's go a combat engineer. Are we still producing fiends? Yeah, so just should be grouping up a critical mass of fiends, I'm sure. Would be running into the main base. See some sumoed armored assault bots coming out onto the map. Don't see these too often. I wonder if he's going to be trying to kill this exploder. No, just a mech and a radar here in the top right corner. Doing his best to hide. See, our blue player is just camping the board. I mean, he doesn't really, he doesn't have to attack at all. Throwing your army. See some combat engineers moving towards the red player's side of the map. Yeah, these can actually cap nexus, add on static defense. I think that's the extent of their, can make these 2-2 walls, long range radar jammers, advanced radar towers, medium mines even. So pretty cool utility unit here. Don't see these too much. I really like these medium mines. It's interesting. Those are a part of that unit. Can more than defend itself. And we see some pounders trying to press forward and get control of this map here. But this is just the inevitable is happening here. Our blue player is slowly building up a huge mass of fiends who should be running into the main base any moment here, I'd imagine. Or at least trying to find this commander. And I think ZLO is going to spot this commander with this grave robber here. Let's take a look at this player view. So he sees the red dots moving out onto the board here. See some more sumos kind of posturing here in the center. Got the reclaim off of the construction bot with the grave robber. Are you kidding me? That's it's kind of hilarious. We see some fiends stepping forward, dealing with these pounders. Too many fiends for some Tech 1 units to deal with, and some Sheltons are making their way out into the battlefield. Even so, going to be able to start shelling this position from afar. Our blue player has spotted Red's commander, so I mean, why attack this huge fortified position on the map when you can just go kill the commander? So we should see our blue player doing just that. Andy pulling back. I mean, he knows the danger he's in. He has to do something. Cloaks his commander. That's not going to stay on for long while you're moving. It takes much more energy to move with the commander than staying stationary. So just minus 100 energy to cloak your commander. More fiends running forward. Trying to find this commander here. So much blue on the map. We see some sumos here in the center making their way towards the top. Some Sheltons trying to deal with this. I wonder if these shots are going to accidentally reveal this commander. And that's it. Our red player calls GG. So well played. Good job by ZLO. Yeah, I mean, he was just so greedy taking these naked expansions, right? And just the posturing with these grunts here on the south side. Let him take these, like, this plateau here for free. He took this plateau. I mean, this was eventually dealt with by this, like, factory right next to it, but really was so greedy. Got so many units on the map, and yeah, really well played. So hope y'all enjoy this kind of content. I'll be coming back, of course, with more great 1v1, high-level 1v1s, build order videos, and some 8v8 build orders. So I know y'all kind of responded to that poll, so thank you for that, and I will see you in the next replay.